Okay, so we're still doing test review. We're looking at question number 11. So we see this and we want to graph it, but first you have to read it. It says graph the equation using the x-y intercepts. That means you're going to find 2 points. One point is on the y-axis and one point is on the x-axis. Then you'll join it up. But in order to find points that are on the x and y-axis, you have to use this method, 0, 0, because that means stay the same. Stay on the x-axis, stay on the y-axis. So let's make a table of values, okay? Put 0, 0, and we say if x equals 0, we're going to do the first one, we're going to try and find out what y is. So we go 3x plus y equals 9. So wherever the x is, we're going to put in 0 right here. So 3 times 0 plus y equals 9. 3 times 0 is 0, it's gone, so y equals 9. So if x is 0, y is 9. That's my first point. Now let's do the second part. If y equals 0, let's find out what x is. So let's write the equation. Wherever the y is, I'm going to put 0. 3x plus 0? Oh, he's sort of just gone. So this says 3 times something is 9. Well, you can go 3 times 3 is 9. Or you can divide by 3, and x equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. So we're saying if y is 0, x is 3. There's my second point. So now because they both have zeros, these points have zeros, they are going to be on the x and y axis, which means they are x and y intercepts. So the first number is left and right, the second number is up and down. So it says stay, and then the 9 is positive, so go up 9. The 3 is about left and right, so it's positive, so I'm going to go right. And then it says stay, don't go up and down. So there's my 2 points, and you can see this point is on the y-axis, and this point is on the x-axis, so those are our x and y intercepts. And I just join them up. And I've graphed my line. Okay? So when you use x and y intercepts, you have to use this method, a table of values, and use 2 zeros. Let's look at the next question. It says, determine the slope of the line through the 2 points. So if I have 2 points and I want to find the slope, I have to use this formula. Slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you have to remember that. So let's put these points up here so I can see them. Okay, and we just choose one of them to be point 1 and one to be point 2. It doesn't matter which one we choose to be 1. Here's point 1, here's point 2. It doesn't matter, you could do it the other way. The first number is always x, the second's y, x, y. So you have to memorize this formula. And these 2's and 1's tell you something. This says look at point 2 and choose the y value. Well, here's point 2 and here's the y value, so 13. Do subtract. Look at point 1 and choose the y value. Here's point 1, I choose the y value, that's 6. Look at point 2 and choose the x value. Here's point 2, here's the x value. And then look at point 1 and choose the x value. Okay, so 13 minus 6 is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. And we're going to use our calculator to see if it can be simplified, because you always have to make things simplified. I don't think it can, because this is a prime number. Yeah, it can't be simplified, so that's my slope. So my slope is 7 over 4. Okay? If my calculator gives me an error, then the slope will be undefined. Okay? All right. Let's look at the next question. It says use the slope-intercept form. Look, slope-intercept method, or form, same thing. Okay, so if you didn't read this, you just went y equals, oh, that looks exactly like this. It's in the correct form. Okay, so we're going to use this method to solve that because that's easier. So y equals mx plus b. Let's write this down. Y equals 5x plus 5. So the m is 5, the b is 5. Okay, so this tells us our y-intercept, and this tells us our slope. Okay, so the first thing we do is the y-intercept. Second, we do the slope. Now my slope is 5, but it always has to be a fraction. So I always put it over 1 if it's just a whole number. If it's a number by itself, you just write it over 1. And slope, the top number is always about up and down, the bottom number is left and right. And if it's positive, you go up. So here, positive, and this is positive, so I'm going to go right. Okay, so it means put a point at 5, then go up 5 and right 5. So this always says put a point at 5, but on the y-axis because it's the y-intercept. So here's my y-axis, so I'm going to put a point at 5. And now it says go up 5 and right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 1. There. If I want another point, I can see that this is 1, 5. I'll do the same thing. 1, 5. And I'll put another point. 1, 5. I just make it the same shape. 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. That just helps me draw a straight line, because I'm not so good at drawing straight lines, even with a ruler. Okay, so I drew the line. There. That's it. So, when it looks like y equals mx plus b, the slope-intercept method, use this method. It's easy. Okay, next one. Determine the equation of this. So, when we want to make an equation, we use the slope-intercept method. So, y equals mx plus b. So first thing is the y-intercept. We say, where does the line cross the y-axis? It crosses right at 2. So it's going to be y equals something x plus, and this number is going to be 2. Just that. Okay, sorry, I got interrupted. So here's my line, and it crosses the y-axis at 2, so I put a 2 for the y-intercept. Now to find my slope, because m is the slope, I have to have two numbers. One number, the top tells us about up and down, and the bottom tells us about left and right. So they give us 3 points here, and you can choose any 2 points you want. So let's choose this one and this one, and I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go from this point to this point. But you can go from this point to this point, it doesn't matter. You just have to travel from one point to the other point. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going 4 this way. If I go this way, it's negative. Then I have to go 1 up. Then I go 1 up, and up is positive. Okay, so the number about up and down goes on the top, so that's 1. And the number about left and right goes on the bottom, so that's negative 4. So here's my equation, y equals. Now when you have a negative with a fraction, you can go and put the negative with the 1, you can put the negative with the 4, or you can put the negative out in front, and it all means the same thing. So I'm just going to put the negative in the front, doesn't matter. And there's my equation. Okay.